Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about small home organization for large families. I'm going to give a quick disclaimer. I do not claim to be the most organized person. My house is a mess. But I have learned a few ways to keep it sort of under control. And I'm going to share that with you guys today. One big thing that is widely agreed upon in the organizing community is you cannot organize clutter. I disagree to a point. You can, it's just incredibly difficult. So the more you've got, the harder it's going to be to organize. So I would say, and this is not going to be a decluttering course because that's a whole other thing, but to the best of your ability, keep your belongings and possessions to what you use daily, or use frequently I should say, and what you love. Organized can be a very relative term because what is organized to one person is not organized to another. There's a lot that goes into organizing. There are different organization styles. There's different organization methods. So for the sake of time and not overwhelming you, I'm gonna stick to pretty basic stuff. I'm not gonna go into styles. I'm not gonna go into methods necessarily. I'm just gonna give you a few tips and tricks that have worked for my large family in smaller spaces. If you want more, we can talk about it. If not, that's cool too. My first tip for you is bins. Everywhere. Bins. Bins are your friend. And I would say even inside shelves, if you can use bins and boxes, use bins and boxes. Excuse the dirty laundry. So why are baskets so beneficial? There are a few reasons. Number one being that if it's a really deep shelf or cabinet, you can put multiple items inside the shelf or cabinet and still be able to get to it by pulling the basket or bin out. Two, it makes cleaning a whole lot easier because all you have to do is take the basket or bin out and clean underneath and inside of the basket or bin. I like to use my vacuum. You can use whatever your preferred method is. I would also advise getting a few under the bed storage containers to go underneath your beds if at all possible, because you can fit a whole lot underneath your beds. My second tip for you is, if at all possible, keep dishes that are the same size because they stack so much easier and take up much less space in your cabinet. The next thing I would say is be creative about making your own space. We have currently 9 people in our house, and it's a 1,200 square foot home. So I put shelves on top of shelves because it works. All right, and finally I'm gonna leave you with one more tip for your papers. I'm only gonna show you one that's not really important, and that is our products and warranties. You can use these 3-ring binders and page protectors to save important paperwork and not so important paperwork. I've got a binder for medical and personal, which you can keep inside of a file cabinet. I have a folder for each person, and some of them have a few folders depending on how thick the medical records are. This one is like not very organized anymore because, you know, as our stuff breaks and so on, I take it out, but I forget to relabel and reorganize, but you get the idea. So page protectors, and then you can buy these little stick-on tabs to put on the side of the page protector, and you can write on them. They're relatively inexpensive, but it helps keep everything organized. Something else I wanted to add is don't believe the illusion that once you've organized a space, it's going to stay that way, because it's not. I don't care if there's one person living in your house or if there's 20 people living in your house. It will not stay that way without you personally going and keeping it up. A good rule of thumb is the amount of times you visit a space in a day. That's how many times per year you should revisit it and clean it out and reorganize it or organize it again. So like for the pantry, right, you use it at least 3 times a day. We use it more like 5 or 6. So I should be cleaning it out 5 or 6 times a year. So like once every other month or so. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depends on what I have time for, but that is a good rule of thumb because it'll keep your spaces more organized for longer periods of time. Also, I would say do not be afraid to change it up. If a space is not working for you, change it, see if it works. Move things to a different space. Just tweak it as you go based on your needs, move things around as you need it, and you'll eventually find what works for you.